Today, Pranay and I are going to give an example on how to perform a barbell back squat. So in the barbell back squat, the primary agonist muscles are going to be the glutes at the hip and the quads at the knee, and the antagonists at the hip are going to be the hip flexors, and at the knee are going to be the hamstrings. So Pranay, if you want to show a setup. So in a gym setting, we're going to want to make sure that the safety bars are in place and clips are on the weight so that we're executing the exercise safely. Pranay is going to unrack the weight here, and he's going to have the bar setting on his traps. And in this setup, we want to make sure that we have our hands sort of outside our shoulders holding the bar, and our feet are shoulder width apart. And we can flare our toes slightly outwards. And before Pranay executes the exercise, we want to just give him some general cues. So internally, we want Pranay to brace his core. For his breathing, on the way down, we want him to hold his breath in, and then on the way up, have him breathe out. Externally, we want Pranay to think of it as he's sitting down in a chair, and as he comes up through the exercise, we want him to come straight up out of that chair. We want to keep his chest up. We don't want the knees caving inward, and we do not want the knees coming super far over the midline of his foot, kind of getting over his toes there. It's very important to keep the spine neutral throughout this movement, especially as you increase the loads. You don't want any arching or flexion of the spine. So we'll have Pranay perform a back squat here. Okay, and maybe go from the front there, and down, and up. Good. So we want the barbell coming sort of in a straight line from up and down. We could see there a little bit, Pranay did quite well on that, but his knees slightly came over his toes a bit. So we don't want that, especially with increased loads. It puts a lot of stress on your knee. Other than that, well done. Some common mistakes people have with this exercise is their knees are caving inwards like that, or their heels really elevate. So from there, if you want to make that a little more easier, you can put weights behind your heels and elevate your heels. Other ways to make this exercise a little less difficult is sitting down on a box when you come down, and then you would pop up off the box. And then also not going as deep in the range of motion, not going all the way to 90 degrees. Some ways to make this exercise more difficult is to, obviously increase the load, but also you can get deeper into your squat. And then you can hold that squat, and then as you come up, that would increase the difficulty. Another way you can do that is to use variations of the squat and use a split squat. So that would make the exercise more difficult as well. And yeah, that's hopefully that helps you with performing the barbell back. In general, for the back squat, for just general fitness, the range of motion, you want your hips and knees sort of break at the same time throughout the exercise. You want your hips and knees kind of parallel with each other at the bottom of your squat. If you want to make it easier, you can not go as low. If you want to make it more difficult, you can go more low in your squats. And for the speed and tempo, sort of want a 2-to-1 eccentric, concentric portion of the exercise. So 2 seconds down on the eccentric, generally no pause, and then a 1 second up through the concentric.